Nisam Bolivinaka, I'm Tale Tora. Despite the ultimatums set by the government to the Methodist Church of Fiji to convene its annual church conference, the Republic of Fiji military forces last night cancelled the conference that was to begin this morning. According to the RFMF Land Force Commander, Col Tikoitoga, political leaning is still very much at play amongst church ministers, which ultimately led to the cancellation of the conference.
Although we have agreed on many facts, there was still the fact that Reverend Tungawe and Wangai Ratu were still involved in the hierarchy of the church. In the meeting yesterday, we again requested the Methodist Church leaders to come up to QEB. We held that meeting last night at 8 p.m. last night at QEB Officers Mess, of which Wangai Ratu, Nawandra and Reverend Toko were invited to QEB.
Col Tikoitoga said Reverend Koroi was also invited to a meeting at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks. He, however, refused to attend. Government has had several meetings with the Methodist Church leaders on these issues.
The main topic of discussion was the involvement of Tungawe and Wangai Ratu. We told them the government positions on why we couldn't allow that. We thought we would that the church and the government should respect each other's laws, and because those two were accused in any by a military or a government law which specified that they had breached the public emergency regulation.
Col Tikoitoga said the conference was also cancelled as the Methodist Church did not agree to the removal of church leaders who have allegedly breached the public emergency regulations.
They refused to accept that explanation. They maintained that a person is innocent until proven guilty. We did not contest that statement. Rather, we told them that they, being church ministers, should have upheld the higher moral ground and either stood down or suspended the two so that the Methodist Church could move ahead. They refused to do so. In fact, we got word that the president of the Methodist Church, Reverend Tungawe, was willing to step down, but Wangai Ratu refused.
Col Tikoitoga said government is not trying to stop the meeting, saying it is the few in the church that has caused this rift after several discussions. He said it's a divine calling for the preachers to ensure that they lead their followers in the right path.
The Permanent Secretary for Information, Sharon Smith-Johns, has slammed a recent report by a New Zealand reporter specifically on the Methodist Church, claiming that church ministers were locked up at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks last night. Ms. Smith-Johns said this story is completely fabricated and members of the public are advised not to listen to false information.
The report this morning on one of the main websites in in New Zealand is talking specifically about the Methodist Church. This he claims in this story that the Methodist leaders were locked up last night and held overnight at the barracks. We've just heard from the Land Force Commander that we know that that's not true. The story also insinuated that we were trying to take in Reverend Koroi by force, and as you've just heard, that is not true. It was there to ask him to join the meeting. This type of reporting, it's deliberate and it's malicious, and it's undermining our economy and it's undermining our tourism, and it's very politically swayed.
Ms. Johns said reports by New Zealand reporter Michael Field are ill-formed, badly researched and deeply biased.
Unfortunately, Michael Field is a law unto himself. However, it comes back into our society through the internet, and it causes unrest and it causes panic, and it makes people question what's really going on. And we spend far too much time in government defending our position from the people like Michael Field than actually getting on there and doing our job and moving this country forward.
Smith-Johns said Michael Field has never once contacted the Ministry of Information for further clarification.
Again, Michael Field is a liar. He has said that he has tried to contact the Fiji government. My phone number has been broadcast on websites. It's on my email address. You pick up the phone, you can call me as people do all hours of the day and night. I'm always there for comment. Michael Field has never once attempted to contact me. He has never emailed me. And as far as I know, he hasn't contacted anybody in the Ministry of Information. And you all know how accessible we are to the media. So when he says he tries to get a comment from government, he's a liar. He doesn't.
The Land Force Commander of the RFMF, Col Tikoitoga, has reiterated that the cancellation of the Methodist Church annual conference is due to their leaders not wanting to work with government to create a better Fiji free from political disturbance.
It should not have any international repercussions into our economy or tourism. What we are doing here is looking after the welfare of the Fijian population. We are not doing this to attract any international sympathy. We are doing this merely because we think we should be doing the right thing for the population of Fiji. I know it will be misconstrued by international organizations and international media, but we need to do this, not for them, we need to do this for the public of Fiji.
Up ahead in the news, Housing Authority projects progressing well and tourist yields up on Denarau. And that's it from the news team. You can email us your comments to FijiFocusTV@info.gov.fj. Until then, thank you for joining us. Good night.